There are over 4 million towns in the United States. But which ones are truly forgotten? Which ones have secrets so terrifying they've been buried for decades? Welcome back. I'm here. Today we are diving deep into the heart of America, specifically into a town that refuses to let go of its visitors. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, because today's story is horrifying. So make sure to have your volume turned down. On the surface, it's an ordinary day. Alex Carter, a 27-year-old documentary filmmaker, is on a road trip across rural America with his friend Sarah. They're on a mission to uncover stories for their indie web series, Forgotten Places. This time, their GPS has led them to a deserted town called Hollow Creek. As they navigate through the winding roads, the GPS glitches. The signal cuts in and out, and Sarah voices her concerns. We should have stayed on the main highway. This place isn't even on the map anymore. Alex, however, remains optimistic. That's exactly why it's perfect. No one knows it. That's the kind of story our viewers watch, he says with a smile. As the car weaves through the thick, dark green, almost black fog, the trees seem to close in around them. Suddenly, amidst the darkness, a faded, rotting wooden sign emerges. It reads, "Welcome to Hollow Creek, population." The last digits are scratched out, adding an eerie touch to the already unsettling scene. Finally, they spot a faint glow in the distance. Relief washes over them as they realize it's a gas station. But as they approach, they notice it's abandoned. Cars are parked haphazardly, their engines long cold. Sarah shivers. Do you feel that? It's like this place is abandoned mid-sentence, she says. Just then, their car sputters and coughs, mirroring the dilapidated state of the gas station before them. With a heavy heart, they realize their journey has come to an abrupt end. Alex turns to Sarah, his eyes shining with determination. Well, we're not going anywhere now. We might as well check out the town. Sarah hesitates, her unease palpable, but nods in agreement. Together, they step out into the fog, their breath hanging in the air as they explore the depths of Hollow Creek. The houses are mostly abandoned, their windows like vacant eyes staring into the abyss. Faded clothes hang from broken shutters, and porches sag under the weight of neglect. A church bell tolls in the distance, echoing through the stillness. The sound seems mournful, as if lamenting the town's forgotten fate. But upon closer inspection, the church stands empty. There's no trace of any congregation. No cars line the street, and a chill wind whistles through the gaps in the boarded-up windows. Sarah and Alex walk on, their steps echoing on the empty streets. A lone diner comes into view. Its flickering neon sign still glows faintly. Open. The sight of the warm light spilling out onto the sidewalk offers a momentary comfort. As they push open the door, however, a gust of wind extinguishes the lights, plunging them into darkness. The sudden blackout heightens their senses and makes the familiar seem alien. When their eyes adjust to the gloom, they notice that dust covers everything, suggesting the diner has been abandoned for years. The only anomaly is a table near the window. There are 2 half-full coffee cups sitting on it, as if someone left only minutes ago. But the most unsettling detail is that the coffee is still warm. Sarah feels a growing sense of dread. This isn't right. It's like we're intruding on something we're not supposed to see, she whispers, her voice tight with fear. Alex, though he's focused solely on documenting the extraordinary, pulls out his handheld camera and begins recording. He's excited by the mystery, but Sarah senses danger lurking round every corner. They hear a noise, a shuffling sound just beyond their perception. Sarah jumps, startled, but Alex, ever the explorer, is intrigued. He follows the sound, his camera rolling, while Sarah anxiously waits by the door. He calls out, "Hello, is anyone there?" His voice echoes in the vast emptiness of the diner. There's no reply. As Alex continues his search, the whispering starts. At first, it's faint, almost inaudible. But as he moves deeper into the shadows, the whispers grow louder, weaving together into chilling phrases. "Don't stay in Hollow Creek," they hiss. "Run while you can." The voice seems to slither through the walls, slithering into his very bones. Frightened but determined to discover the source of the whispers, Alex presses on. He finds an old woman hunched over, wearing a faded shawl. Her eyes look pale and unfocused, as if clouded with age or perhaps something more sinister. Startled by his sudden appearance, she lets out a low, raspy cry. "Why are you here? You shouldn't be here," she rasps, her voice brittle like dead leaves. When the fog whispers, it's already too late. She adds cryptically before disappearing into the mist, leaving Alex more confused than ever. He returns to the diner where Sarah is waiting, her face pale with worry. She urges him to leave immediately, but Alex insists they must explore further. As twilight deepens, the whispers intensify, swirling around them like a vortex of dread. Despite the growing darkness and the ominous whispers, Alex and Sarah continue their exploration, their determination battling against their mounting fears. In the gathering darkness, they find an old inn on Ashwood Lane, the only building with lights shining warmly from within. Hope surges through them as they realize they might find answers here. Relief washes over them. They step inside, the door chiming merrily, as if unaware of the shadows that linger in the corners. A gaunt, middle-aged man with dark circles under his eyes looks up from behind the counter. Without a word, he hands them a key, his silence amplifying the unease that's been clinging to them like a shroud. On the counter, a guest book lies open, its pages filled with names and dates. The last signed entry, however, sends a chill down their spines. It's dated 1987, as if the town has been cut off from the world, frozen in time. Their room is small and dusty, the wallpaper peeling from the walls like scabs. As they settle in, Sarah notices something scratched into the wooden window frame. "Don't listen to the voices," it reads, the words stark and urgent. Just then, the wind outside picks up, rattling the window panes. The voices from earlier seem to swell, whispering urgently, pleading for them to leave. But as the fog thickens outside and the whispers grow louder, Sarah's fear intensifies. She hears footsteps pacing back and forth outside her door. Then she hears her name being called in a whispery voice, as if someone was standing right outside the door, beckoning her. Terror grips her. She hides under the bed, pulling her sweater tightly around her, as the doorknob begins to turn by itself. Moments stretch into an eternity until the door creaks open. Bare feet step inside, pale and lifeless, dragging across the floor. They stop just inches from the bed, and when Sarah dares to peek out, she sees nothing. The only sound, the lingering whisper of faint breathing. Suddenly, the door bursts open, and Alex rushes in, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He's just shown Sarah what he recorded, when suddenly she shrieks, pointing to the footprints. Alex, oblivious, continues talking about his footage until Sarah's horrified expression makes him look. He gasps at the sight, finally realizing the gravity of their situation. Together they flee the inn, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. But as they reach the car, their worst fears are realized. The battery is dead. The wires are torn out as if chewed by some unseen animal. As dawn breaks, they decide to leave. But when they get to the car, the battery is dead. The wires are torn out as if chewed by some animal. Trapped and with no way out, they're prisoners in a town that doesn't want them to leave. And then she appears again from the fog, the old woman. She whispers one final warning. The town doesn't let go. You heard the whispers. Now it has heard you. Her face suddenly twists into something unnatural. Her mouth opens impossibly wide, and she screams. The screen cuts to black. Have you ever experienced anything paranormal? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And remember, stay safe when exploring abandoned places. Who knows what secrets they might hold? Fade in Ixt town. Late evening, a thick layer of fog blankets the quaint town. In the distance, we hear the faint toll of a church bell. Camera slowly zooms in on a cobblestone street called Ashwood Lane. At the end of the road, we see a crooked, dilapidated house. Its windows are boarded up or shattered, revealing gaping, empty sockets. Ivy crawls up the side of the building, creeping through every available crack and crevice. A beat of silence. Then a deep, chilling voice begins the story. Narrator Ashwood Lane was more than just an address. It was a curse, whispered from one generation to the next. A house abandoned, yet never truly empty. And now it was theirs. The camera follows a family of 3, a young couple and their young daughter, as they walk up the overgrown path to the house. The wood creaks even before they open the door. Camera pans upward to a shattered attic window where something flickers past. Mother, it's bigger than I expected. Father, forcing a smile. It just needs a little love. Child, soft whisper, almost not heard. It's watching us. Camera lingers on the child's eyes, wide with unease. Narratorthy hadn't meant to buy the house on Ashwood Lane. It had simply appeared in their search results. An unexpected new listing in a forgotten corner of town. They'd come for the cheap accommodations and stayed because the house wouldn't let them leave. The father reaches out, grasps the doorknob, and pushes the door open. Sound design amplifies the creak. stretching it unnaturally long, like a groan of pain. Narrator inside, the air was stale, heavy, as though it had been waiting years for lungs to breathe it in again. Wallpaper peeled like rotting flesh, and the floorboards groaned under every step as though the house was alive. As they venture further into the house, a sudden whisper cuts through the silence. Subtitles flash. Leave. It's too faint to be heard by the characters, but to the audience, we hear the word leave spoken by a raspy, hollow voice. Narrator's voices in the house weren't kind. They were desperate, pleading, warning. But the family couldn't hear any of it over the sound of their own footsteps. The camera continues to follow the family deeper into the house. In the kitchen, rusted utensils are scattered across the counter and one chair is swaying slightly, though no wind enters the boarded-up windows. In the hallway, antique portraits stare blankly ahead, with their eyes scratched out. At the end of the hall, the family stops in front of a closed door. The brass doorknob is tarnished, and when the father reaches out to touch it, chains hanging from the door rattle loudly on their own. Father, well, I guess this is locked. Child, to herself. There's someone in the basement. Mother, sternly. Don't say things like that. The father tries the doorknob, locked. Then he looks down at the chains hanging beside the door. Narrator. But the whispers grew louder. They seeped into the cracks of the house, slithered under doors, echoed in empty halls. As the family turns away from the basement door, the camera zooms in close. We hear a faint knock from inside. Narrate Rand. The house itself seemed to want them to stay. The camera follows the family out of the basement and through the house. We see them setting up their furniture and unpacking their boxes. Ixed house. Night establishing shot of the house against the foggy night sky. One upstairs light flickers before shutting off completely. Father, in the living room, unpacking. We'll make this place home. You'll see. As he says this, behind him, a shadow moves across the hallway. Narrator, but you cannot make a home out of a grave. Not even the bravest flame can banish the shadows in a tomb. Father, come on, Ellie. I think I found your room all set up. The camera watches the family settle in for the night. The child goes to her room. Then the mother and father go to theirs. Int, child's ROOM, night. The girl lies in her bed with stuffed animals surrounding her. She closes her eyes, but suddenly she hears scratching under her bed. She bends down to look. There's nothing there. But as she sits back up, her closet door creaks open on its own. She looks inside. Two glowing eyes shine inside the darkness for a split second. Then the door shuts with a bang. The girl gets out of bed and runs to her parents' room. Int, parents' room, night. The girl stands between her parents in their bed crying. Child, there's someone in my room. Father, angry, trying to rationalize. It's just a nightmare. Go back to sleep, honey. Mother, concerned, whispering. But what if it isn't? The camera shifts to the hallway mirror, which reflects the family standing together. But in the reflection, the child is missing. Narrator when they moved in. The house welcomed them with open arms. When they tried to leave, it wouldn't let them go. They woke up the next morning to find their car covered in scratches, their tires slashed. All their belongings were overturned, strewn about the house as though someone had ransacked it. But they were alone. Ixt house day. The camera pans out slowly to reveal a sprawling graveyard behind the house. Dozens of headstones are visible, some toppled over, many with indecipherable etchings. Narratorin, Ashwood Lane. Every brick is a tombstone, every window an eye. And the family was only beginning to understand that they had never moved in alone. Suddenly, a pale face presses against the attic window. The face smiles, revealing teeth that are far too sharp and long. Narratorno, you're playing a game of hide and seek with the ghosts of Ashwood Lane. Good luck finding them all. Fade out.